To everyone who's building, expect the warfare, expect the opposition, but don't let it stop you. Keep going. By the grace of God, you will finish what it is that God has placed in your hand to build. Hi guys, this is the Women Who Build mini-series leading up to the launch of the podcast. So make sure that you tune in. This is a little bit of a sneak peek as to what it is that will be coming from the podcast. So make sure you tune into these mini-series and get the knowledge, the wisdom that you need to really continue along your building journey as God called you to build for his kingdom in this season. So if you're a kingdom woman called to build in this season, make sure you stay tuned. When you're building something that is of the Lord, expect warfare. I mean, it's so, sometimes like I remember there have been several occasions where all of a sudden I would just feel stuff and I would just recognize some certain things happening happening emotionally and all that. Sometimes like even when I do certain things that I feel like the Lord wants me to do, sometimes the aftermath, I'll recognize that, wait, what's happening? And it's kind of like, yeah, it's because you're pressing on something that the enemy doesn't want people of God to be dealing with. And it's like, don't count it abnormal that it seems like there is opposition when you are actually taking those steps to build what God has called you to build. We think about Nehemiah again. When he was building, we have, what are their names? Bible scholar. Be a Bible scholar. What is their names? What are their names? Why is Ananias and Sapphira coming to mind? They have nothing to do with Nehemiah. I don't even understand. What are their names? Sanballat and Tobias? Is it Tobias or something like along those lines? Read your whole Bible, you'll find it. But yeah, Sanballat and the guy with the name beginning with T, they were intimidators. They were wanting to distract Nehemiah. They want to put Nehemiah off of building the wall and rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. There are people that maybe the enemy might want to use to discourage you, to throw you off your game. All of a sudden, things that are trying to, that come up that affect you emotionally, that now you're like, oh Lord, I don't even feel like continuing. You know, leading up to even coming into this space, filming and all that, like my enemy was not feeling too great. I was just like, and I was saying to a family member of mine that I just feel like maybe I should just cancel. Maybe like my enemy's just not feeling well. And they were like, just try. And I was like, oh. And sometimes when you are about to do something that is like moving the vision forward, there's all of a sudden might be like things that try to throw you off guard, but expect it. And when you expect it, you prepare for it. Don't let it derail you. Don't let it throw you off your game. Have accountability. You know, people that will keep you accountable that like, listen, this is something that you have wanted to do. This is something that the Lord has placed on your heart. So like, this has to be done. If you were to look back and if you stopped doing it and all that, if you were to look back, what would you feel? And you'd probably say like regret or something like that. So it's like, okay, why don't you just push forward now and just see what God does? And sometimes we talk about grace, that God gives us grace and all that enables us and all that. But one thing I've come to recognize is sometimes when it comes to grace, sometimes you actually have to begin stepping in it to be able to actually begin walking in the grace. And what do I mean by that? Sometimes we be wanting the energy to come now. God, I don't have the energy to do this right now, so let the energy come now. Lord, my enemy is not feeling well, so let me start feeling well now. And sometimes it's not until you start taking those steps that all of a sudden you'll be seeing your strength coming back. You'll be feeling, oh, I'm starting to feel a little bit better, stuff like that. And what does that remind me of? It reminds me of I believe it was when Jesus healed the leopards. Oh my days. The lepers, the ones that had leprosy. And he was like, he sent them on their way. And as they were walking, they became healed. It wasn't an instant healing. It was as they were walking. So imagine if they just stood there waiting for the healing. Like, you know? So on this journey, yes, expect warfare, expect opposition, but don't let that derail you. Remain prayerful, remain accountable, and the grace, the empowerment that you need, sometimes you might actually need to take those steps to actually walk it out, to begin to feel like, yes, my strength is coming back. Things like that. So yeah, that's my encouragement to everyone who's building. Expect the warfare, expect the opposition, but don't let it stop you. Keep going. By the grace of God, you will finish what it is that God has placed in your hand to build. You will finish it, you will finish it, you'll finish it. And anything that appears to be a mountain before you, we declare that that mountain be made plain, that you will even speak to the mountain and prophesy to the mountain, that this mountain be made plain. And that faith that you have, that mountain will be made plain in the name of Jesus. So keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the Lord will be with you wherever you go.